What's going on, everybody? This is Jay Leno, and I'm here to present to you guys Marvel's Blood Hunt Issue 1. Let's check it out. So, this issue starts off in New York City, and there's this portal that opens up that's opening this fleet of vampires across the world. There's multiple portals that have emerged. And it starts off with Scarlet Witch fighting waves of vampires, and it looks like the Avengers and a couple of their buddies across the world are fighting these waves of vampires. But to their knowledge, they don't know where this source is coming from and why these vampires are taking over. And we are right now going to be witnessing a lot of our heroes being turned into vampires. This series gets really dark, really fast. I think the one thing that really struck out to me the most was this new faction that they've introduced called the Structure. I don't know where their origin comes from. There are some references to a couple of Moon Knight issues. It might be an original Moon Knight 13, or it might be the Moon Knight that part of the Moon Knight series that's in current as of right now, when some of this faction of people called the Structure had came from. But so when we finally are introduced into the Structure, there's this long monologue from its leader, and the leader is basically breaking down on how the Structure will take down the Earth's mightiest heroes, the Avengers. And one in particular that's going to stick out to you the most going through this issue is there is a vampire that has the ability to penetrate the skin of an Asgardian. But Thor's immediate response of being told that he could do such, or even being cut, is as Thor let us all know through this first fight that he cannot be turned into a vampire. So right now, this issue had me at a blank as to figure out, what's the answer to, I'm talking hundreds and thousands of vampires are turning all the humans and regular bystanders into vampires right now. And you've got T'Challa fighting for his life against these hordes, who eventually gets turned into a vampire. We're yet to see any of appearances from Wolverine or Bruce Banner or Thunderbolt Ross. So far, we have the Red Falcon Captain America that makes his appearance, and right now he is priority to be protected to be turned, because not all of the humans have been turned into vampires. This is like breaking news as of the moment. And right now the vampires are trying to make a priority and really set the tone and make a statement, and they really want to turn Captain America into a vampire, to basically lose all hope of society. And so you're gonna see appearances from Moon Knight's sidekick and Tigra as well. Again, T'Challa was turned into a vampire. And then another thing that really struck out to me watching the video and also reading this comic was Doctor Strange is at home with Clea doing research on how to stop these vampires from taking over the world. And the only contingency plan that they all have awareness of is for Scarlet Witch to cast a spell to eliminate the existence of vampires, period. But Blade is also in this series as well. He's one of the major characters, key characters in this series of Blood Hunt. And so Doctor Strange knows, of course, that Scarlet Witch isn't going to pull the plug on all vampires, not just for Blade's case, but just in general. Not all vampires are enemies to the Avengers or to the world, so she doesn't necessarily want to pull the plug. But so Doctor Strange is doing his research and trying to come up with his own contingency plan. And they still don't know the source of how these portals were created and who summoned them until the end of the comic. So Blade appears at Doctor Strange's home with Clea and talks to Doctor Strange about what's his plans, what's the strategy to handle this entire situation. So Doctor Strange says, well, we're kind of drawn to a blank. I know that Wanda, aka Scarlet Witch, isn't going to be willing to pull the plug herself to eliminate all vampires to save humanity, save mankind, period. And so Blade, is trying to figure out, like, hey, okay, so what are you going to do about it, Doctor Strange? Or how do you feel about vampires being eliminated, like, completely? Doctor Strange said, well, I don't have a problem pulling the plug. I'm not like Scarlet Witch. If I find this spell that Scarlet Witch would use, I will just eliminate them. And, too bad, too sad. I'll, basically saying that, I'll spare this small population just for the better good for a mass amount of people. And that's when the climax happens in this first issue, because that's when we find out who is the main villain in Blood Hunt. And guess what? It's Blade. Blade immediately goes in and stabs Doctor Strange, and the last issue or the last panel doesn't necessarily conclude that he has turned Doctor Strange, but I'm only willing to guess is that Doctor Strange is now a vampire and Blade is the main villain of this entire series. So at this point, my only assumption would be that we are going to see the Avengers turn into vampires. And these aren't the regular vampires that we're accustomed to. These are OP vampires. And we're about to see a lot more of the spiritual realm. We'll probably get a better explanation as to each individual person involved in the faction structure, titled Structure. I didn't want to give you guys verbatim of everything that happens because I still want you guys to read it. Really, I made this review and this breakdown to get some of you comic book historians out there familiar with me, who exactly can be turned into a vampire, who cannot. I do know with the Marvel Zombies that Beta Ray Bill is invulnerable to any sicknesses or viruses. Maybe we'll see an appearance of Beta Ray Bill. It looks like Thor can't be turned to a vampire as well, but T'Challa is a vampire. With the trailer that was released for the Blood Hunt YouTube's page, I did see glimpses of several Avengers turned into vampires. So this is going to get very dark. And I need some fillers in so we can have a little bit of a discussion on as to the history of vampires in the Marvel Universe. This might take a stream from you guys, and if anybody's down to brainstorm with me so we can figure this out, let me know. At this current time, we're up to issue 2 of the Blood Hunt series. This is my review for the issue 1. I'm really excited for this, especially I believe this is an introduction to a brand new villain. This storyline doesn't feel like it's been recycled before. One of the cons that I got out of this series is I'm really disappointed in Marvel, especially Disney, because I could tell that during this time frame this was the time frame that the Blade film was supposed to come out, and these pushbacks has ruined a lot of the promotion for its characters. I've also witnessed this with Deadpool and Wolverine. Right now with Wolverine's comic book series with the Sabretooth War, this would have all lined up perfectly for merchandising and for excitement to lead up to how this basically was going to be the growth of these particular characters as far as the MCU, but as far as globally goes. So, rewrites, bad scripts, movie dates being pushed back. It's looking like when it comes to the Marvel Universe, it's not going to slow down from comics, action figures, and anything outside of the cinematic universe from coming out. Um, yeah, all in all, guys, let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe to the channel. Please, if you don't mind, hit that like button for me. Share this if you guys are down, and fill me in the comment box and let me know a little bit more about vampires in the Marvel Universe. I'm Jay Leno, and I'm out.